gotten pretty fond of not giving him coffee and picking up his dirty socks. But he'll call when the kids are home and I'm home, and I'll say, what are the kids doing? They're not getting too much screen time, are they? I'll say, what do you mean screen time? And they'll say, TV, video games. Yeah, that's what they're doing. He's like, well, honey, they got to work like me. I work 14 hours driving this truck hard all week long. They got to be like me. And I said, well, honey, you sit on here about 14 hours a day staring at a GPS. Isn't that like your screen time? They're just in early training. So, but I want to tell you, I do have some problems with my hearing. And I think some of the difficulties I've had is like in church. I had an issue one time when I was a little bit new to church, and I kind of sat towards the back, and the pastor was doing the talk about tithing. He wanted us to give our tithe, and what I heard was give your tithe. So when that collection plate started passing by me, I put them Tide Pods in there, and I thought I was funding a laundry mission. That worked really good. Sometimes I don't hear like my little girl yelling from the other room, like, Mom, I'm done, come wipe me. What I hear is, sit down, pour a cup of coffee, turn on Netflix. If it's something really important though, I will yell back to her and I'll say, but it doesn't sound like anything's wrong. You guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marlena. Give it up for Marlena! All right. Let's keep it going with our next comic coming to the stage. He's a preacher by day and a comic by night. Would you welcome Mr. Dwight McCormick?
Hey everybody, give it up for Toby. Let him hear it. Give it up for Marlena one more time if you would. Oh, by the way, when I say give it up for him, it means clap. So give it up for him. Alright, very good. And give it up for Mark Wood, everybody. Praise God for Mark. That's great. How many people by round of applause are in Mark's congregation that are here? Praise the Lord, that's awesome. You guys are lucky to have him. That's really cool that he put this together. What a great time. I'm so excited to be here with a bunch of Baptists. I'm a Presbyterian myself. And, there's enough water in this to baptize people for me. So. They call us the frozen chosen, the Presbyterians. So, but you guys know what a praise offering is? Yeah, so if I say give the Lord a praise offering, what do you do? Yeah, there you go. There's a couple of Pentecostals, I'm a Presbycostal, it means you clap, So, but I tell people, Presbyterian, if you say give the Lord a praise offering, then they kind of look for their checkbook. They're like, oh, it went around once, am I going to have to give again? But one of the other major differences between a Presbyterian and a Baptist is that we'll speak to you in the liquor store. It's good to be back here in West Virginia. I was born in California, but raised in southern West Virginia, down in Princeton, West Virginia. Yeah, so it's kind of a wine country meets cold country, if you will. Yeah, I call myself Appalachian. I should have thought of it earlier to combine, like the winemaking with a proud tradition of corn whiskey. What is that? White Zinfandel Lightning. What does this wine go with? NASCAR. But being born in California and raised in West Virginia, in California I was taught to appreciate eating healthy, so I ate granola, but then I came to West Virginia and I put gravy all over it. And in California I was taught to recycle, but then when I was in West Virginia I was only able to do so many things with used Skoal cans of my dad's. Look, Daddy, I made you a terrarium out of Skoal Bandits. In California, I was taught to embrace people of different races and different religious backgrounds. But in West Virginia, I never met anybody of a different race or religious background. It's hard. It's very difficult. So I imagine a lot of you are like me, Christian, snake handlers. Snake handlers aren't usually out and about right now. That's one of those Bible verses we never argue about, is it? You know, so it's in Luke and Matthew that we can harm serpents and be all right, but nobody's arguing that much. You're not going to convince me of doing that. I don't know about you. I was arguing with a guy from Jolo, West Virginia, and he was trying to convince me. He almost had me convinced, but then he had to get rushed to the ER. So, yeah. Did you know after 7 snake bite visits to the ER, you get a free visit? Yeah, that's the National Healthcare Plan now. So. All right, yeah, political there for a second. That's all right. I appreciate your honest feedback. The good thing about being a Presbyterian preacher and being a comedian is if a joke doesn't hit and you all are completely silent, I just feel like I'm in worship. Yeah, exactly. Amen. They don't give me feedback. You know, if something's really good when I'm preaching on Sunday, they're just like, Yeah, so it's good. I appreciate you all being so quiet on that one. Thank you, guys. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I forgot to tell you something about myself. I have creepy eyebrows. Some of you may have noticed that with me walking around. I know some of the comics just met me. I raise my eyebrows up and down unconsciously all the time. It makes people think I'm hitting on them. It's terrible. It's terrible. I got it because my mom always wanted to make sure I was listening to her. Did anybody's mom ever say, by round of applause you can answer, did anybody's mom ever say, look at me while I'm talking to you? All right. It's pretty common. So I'd be looking at her, and then I'm looking right at her, and she's saying, are you listening to me? I'm like, yeah, I'm listening. And so I raise my eyebrows so she knows. So really, when I'm raising my eyebrows unconsciously all the time, it's just childhood trauma. I don't want to get whooping. So I feel close to you all now. Thank you for that vulnerable moment. But I didn't realize that I had these eyebrows until one time I was at a work camp. It was actually over in Charleston, West Virginia. Brought a youth group down I'm at Northminster Presbyterian in Springfield, Ohio. Brought a youth group down, and we were doing a work camp, and there was a young woman giving us orientation. We were all sitting in a circle. Now she's sitting over here just to my left, and for an hour, she gives instructions. And so for an hour, I'm looking at her, she's looking at the group. For an hour, my eyebrows are going up and down. So there's a woman sitting just beyond her, and she's sitting over here. And so for an hour, she thinks I'm making eyes at her. And I found that out because we had this little small group afterwards, and we're downstairs, we're going around saying what we're thankful for. She said, it came to her, she's like, I'll tell you what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for this ring on my left ring finger. It represents the covenant that I made before God and witnesses that I would be faithful to my husband till death do us part. I was going to say sunshine, but all right. Creepy eyebrows, sorry in advance. Yeah, but my dad was Scottish by heritage. My name is Dwight McCormick, so Scottish. He was a little over the top about it, though. You couldn't ask him anything. He'd say, hey, Dad, what was it like when I was born? He was like, you weren't born, son. You were hewn from the cliffs of Dover with iron hammers and blood. You suckled at the teat of a wild ox until you were 3. And then you went to T-ball. My mom would just shake her head. She'd say, Bud, you've never even been to Scotland. You're from Jenkins Jones. And the cliffs of Dover, yeah, they're in England, Einstein. They really loved each other. So there are a few married people in the crowd. By round of applause, a couple of married folks. Yeah, my wife and I just celebrated 17 years of marriage, continuous marriage. Yeah, so thank you for not applauding. We're a little bit different, though. I love to talk, obviously, and she doesn't, so we compromised, and we don't talk. And so I want this feedback, though, all the time, so I hired a golf commentator to give me feedback. Hey, honey, I fixed dinner for you, and everything's set out on the table. His tee shot's right down the middle of the fairway. Don't worry about cleaning up, honey. I'll take care of that and put all the dishes away. His approach shot's right on the edge of the green. I've been meaning to tell you, I never really liked your mother. Shanked it into the pond! No, but my wife's great. She can't keep her hands off me. It's not what you think. She's a massage therapist. Give it up for preachers' wives, though. You know, is it Sherry? Give it up for Sherry. It's a tough gig. It's tough gig to be a preacher's wife. Pray for your preacher and your preacher's wife, preacher's spouse in general. If it's a woman pastor or the spouse, it's a difficult role. One Christmas, she was walking around. The choir director gave her a nice dress. It was relatively formal, not like a formal, like prom formal, but it was like a nice dress. But it happened to be a little form-fitting. It wasn't like a hoochie mama, you know, like, oh my God, what is that? You know, and it wasn't high. It was all the way down to her ankle. It just happened. It was a little form-fitting. And my wife is beautiful. Whew, man, if you see me and you see my wife, you're like, there is a God. But anyway, so she's wearing this dress, happens to be a little form-fitting, and she's a very attractive woman. And I was looking for her on Christmas Eve, and a woman came by, and I was like, hey, did you see Sarah in there? And she's like, yeah, I saw her in there, not looking too much like a preacher's wife. I was like, man, thank you. And don't worry, though, she left the church. I was real glad. All right, well, that one went better in rehearsal. Thank you for asking. I'll put that one back in the case and won't bring it out again. It might be seasonal, maybe at Christmas time. That's fine. Guy here in the third row is like, no, it won't be funny today. Right. You need a punchline to that one. Rewrite it, please. Rewrite that one, boy. Yeah, a mainline denomination Presbyterian church. I don't know if your all's church has had struggles with getting people to come, but we've done some things to get people in. Did this thing, twerking for Jesus. That was misguided. I pulled a hammy myself. And, we did this one drive-through communion, you know, for the sinner that's on the go. I want to have God's grace and abundance, but I just don't have time to stop. So did this one that was my favorite, is Pimp My Pew. It's where you customize your pew with those rims, you know, those beautiful spinners on there. Put those faith-based video game systems in the back. Have you seen these? Sony PlayStation 4. Exodus Box 1. Only has 10 games. They were always broken. Somebody's read their Bible. I assume the rest of you are godless heathens. You guys are great. Oh, we had one for our Jewish brothers and sisters too, the Yahweh. That's just stupid. That's terrible. My favorite though was that we put this one where we put the credit card thing right up there and at the pulpit. You know, we put the credit card machine on the back of the pew there, and you could slide your pledge in. And but I put the amount okay button up at the pulpit. Amount okay? No. Amount okay? No. Amount okay? Oh yeah. Preacher's getting the Lexus. Yeah, it worked for a while until they started hitting the cash back button. You're going to be at Kroger's later and you're just like, amount okay, that guy was funny. What else we got? Let's see here. My wife and I, we do have two lovely daughters, Abinadab and Nebuchadnezzar. Little Nebby came up to me the other day. That's what we call her, Little Nebby. Sounds like a biblical snack cake, doesn't it? Little Nebby. Like manna from heaven. There's a drop of grace in every bite. Little Nebby. Little Nebby came up to me. She's like, Daddy, how come all the kids in Sunday school make fun of me and say I'm named after an 8th century BCE king who Daniel told he had to repent or he was going to hell? Huh? Because they're jealous. Run along and play with your Bible-based toys. Those crack me up, Bible-based toys. You know, Noah's Ark, that's one. Because if there's anything I want my children playing with, it's the most heinous act of God's wrath in all of history. Have fun, babies. Drown the world with God's anger. Yeah, I lost a few of you on that. That's all right. Here's the comedy line. I crossed it. We're going to step back. Everybody, take a few breaths. There we are. Very good. I won't do the next one then. That's a joke. We call that a joke barometer. That's what that is. You test the temperature and then you go, woo, that's too hot. All right, we're going to move back here. No, but actually our daughters are Chloe and Phoebe, and they're 12 and 16. And Chloe is the 16-year-old. We went to the beach last summer, and I noticed that she wore a one-piece bathing suit while her friends wore a two-piece bathing suit. You know, they wore the bikini, and I wasn't sure why this was, and I got her in the car, we were driving somewhere, her friend wasn't around, I said, hey honey, I've noticed that you chose to wear the one-piece and all your friends are wearing bikinis, why is that? She said, Dad, I mean, the women today, where is their modesty? Right? I pulled the car over and had to let the joy wash over me. Started speaking in tongues right there. I'm sure Presbyterian is something like that. I need a moment, I'm remembering it. But found out 2 weeks later it's because she got her belly button pierced without my permission. I wish that was a joke. They've kept us relatively young, my wife and I, and they taught us some of that text messaging lingo. I was surprised by how much of that is faith-based. OMFG. Oh my Father God. STFU, that's another one. Strong teaching foils unbelievers. LMFAO, that's another one. Yeah. Living my faith always overcomes. Had a young man text me the other day, he said, Pastor Dwight, I finally know what it is to be loved unconditionally and I want to give my heart to Jesus. I was like, praise God, that's great. So I texted him back, well, WTF, young man. See, I thought that meant walk the faith. It does not. Bad news is that the good news is the boy still got saved. The bad news is he can't come around my church. I'm so grateful for those of you that laughed at that, because I was told that would lose me some gigs at Baptist churches. I was like, all right, well, God's grace is sufficient. We'll see what happens. So thank you for your patience, and if it did offend you, then I want to tell you I am sorry that you're so easily offended. I was at a Huntington Funny Bones, the first time I ever performed comedy, stand-up comedy there, a little open mic contest they had there about 12 years ago, and this fellow got mad at me for being a preacher and being in the club. He didn't think it was all right. You know, he came up to me after the show, he was like, hey boy, are you really a preacher? I just want to let you know and remind you, if somebody does this in your chest, you're about to be in a fight. I was like, well, yeah, I really am. He's like, why don't you do something preacher-like then? So, of course, I prayed with him. I baptized him. And I took 10% of everything he owns. My name is Dwight McCormick. Thanks so much for having me tonight. Good luck to everybody who's seen so far. Grace, peace, be with you.
Give it up for Dwight! How about that, ladies and gentlemen? All right. Woo! This just gets gooder and gooder, right? Let's keep it going. Our headliner tonight was born in Texas, raised in Tennessee, but neither state wants to claim him. He's inbred, he's corn-fed. He's the Inspirational Country Music Association Comedian of the Year. Would you welcome to the stage Kenny Cornbread Robinson?
Well, when I start talking, people can figure I ain't from around here. I'm not. I'm from down where Virginia and Tennessee and Kentucky and Utah and Nebraska sort of all come together there. A little town called Big Stone Gap, Virginia. Anybody ever heard of Big Stone Gap? Okay, 3 of you, all right. It's a little town, 5,000 people, only 6 last names, okay? That's the kind of little town it is. And, you know, when we say everybody in town knows everybody, we mean in the biblical sense, okay? But, yeah, it's great to be up here tonight in Ripley, West Virginia, believe it or not, right? Yeah. And I tell you what, I'm just having so much fun. I really am getting to be here. Matter of fact, when I came into town, y'all have something we don't have in Big Stone Gap. Y'all got this store called Dollar Tree. Yeah. Oh boy, I like that place. I'd never seen one of them before. Went in that store and I went over and I found some shampoo. And I asked that lady at the cash register, I said, "How much is shampoo?" She said, $1. I said, "Oh, cool. I'll get some of that." Well, then I went over and I found some tissues, and I asked that lady, I said, "Hey, how much is this tissues?" And she said, $1. 2 or 3 more things. I was looking all around the store, everything. I asked her what it cost. Finally, the manager came over to me. He said, hey, buddy, you got to quit bothering my cashier. She's trying to work." I said, "Well, buddy, excuse me, but you ain't got no prices on any of your stuff. There ain't nothing on the shelves. How am I supposed to know what stuff costs?" He said, "You idiot. Look up there on the wall. It says everything's $1. He said, you can buy everything in this store for $1. I gave him $1, told him to give me the keys to get out of my store. Yeah. But I tell you what, this is a big city compared to where I'm from. Matter of fact, I kind of got lost looking for this theater tonight. I was stopped down there after I pulled out of the Dollar Tree. I was trying to find the theater, and I pulled up to the red light down there, and this fella beside me was sitting in this big old truck. One of them big old trucks got the big old tires on it, big old mufflers coming up out of the back. So I tooted on my horn on my little SUV and waved at him and rolled the window down on my SUV, and he rolled his window down. I said, "Hey, buddy, I'm looking for the Alpine Theater. Can you tell me how to get there?" He went to cussing on me, called me every name in the book, made fun of my clothes. And then when the light turned, he shot me the bird and cut over in front of me. Cut me off. And when he did, I want you to know, I honked my horn at him. There you go.
I did. I honked my horn at him hard. Now, where's the preacher's wife, Sherry? Where you at, Sherry? Over there on the camera. Okay. I want you to know, when I honked my horn at that fella, it wasn't because he cussed me or I was mad or caught up in the spirit or anger or anything like that. But his bumper sticker said, "Honk if you love Jesus." And I do love Jesus. Yes, I do. But like I say, we're a little old town. We do things slower than y'all do up here in the big city of Ripley. Yeah. Yeah, we do. We do it slower. Matter of fact, on Sunday night, it takes us an hour and a half to watch 60 Minutes. That's how slow we do life. Okay? And we live so far back out in the sticks, we drive towards town to hunt, okay? There ain't no animals that far out. And I heard the Presbyterian preacher talking there. Where I come from, even the Presbyterians handle snakes, okay? And I was there for the 4th of July, and it's just a wonderful thing. I don't know how many of y'all ever handled a snake, but when it's the 4th of July Sunday, and you get to go and pick you up a copperhead that's got a red, white, and blue ribbon tied around its neck, nothing says I love America more than that. No, sir, really. You can tell who the patriots in that church are. Matter of fact, they got a rattlesnake. That thing, they put bells on its tails and it can do the national anthem just like that. Now sometimes when I'm telling these stories, people will say, "Now, cornbread, is all this stuff you telling us tonight the truth?" And I want you to know, folks, what I'm telling you tonight is on the level. Okay? Any single women here tonight, any single women in the building at all? Okay, we got one. All right. Get your notebook out and write this down, okay? Write this down. If you want to tell if a man's going to be honest with you, if you want to know if he's a truth teller, because believe it or not, there are some men what will lie. I know that surprises you, but there are men what will lie. I'm not sure about the fella sitting next to you, but he may lie to you. But here's the way you can tell, ladies, if a man's on the level. If you are married, check your husband out and you'll know if he's been telling you the truth.
turn that man sideways. If his bubble's in the middle, the man's on the level, okay? Yes, sir. I'm on the level with you folks tonight. How many of y'all believe in love at first sight? Anybody? If you are married, you better get your hand up or you'll be sleeping on the couch like the old Baptist preacher in there. I want to tell you, I am a product of love at first sight. Because I went to a little old non-denominational church in Bristol, Tennessee, and I walked in there on a Sunday night, and the way they did it there is after church, they go over into the fellowship hall. They let you make you a bologna sandwich, give you some tater chips and a little Debbie cake, some soda pop. I looked over at the table and I saw this woman. Woo! She was pretty. Had a little bit of mayonnaise right there in the corner of her mouth where she's eating that bologna sandwich. Oh, my heart's going pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter, just like that. If it hadn't been the first time I'd ever seen her, I'd have just went right over there and licked that mayonnaise out of the corner of her mouth. But I was thinking that might be considered forward. And I wanted to be a little more suave and debonair, don't you know? So I walked over to her and sat down there beside her. I said,